Jeff and Raphael, do you have anything to add to the three wines as a flight?
I thought the first wine is a wine that kind of shows a lot of the characteristics that I always have in my mind when it comes to describing Maccabeu. But it was quite interesting to taste through the flight. The 2014 had a beautiful balance and some nice freshness still. But as you said, there was a roundness and a slightly more floral element to the wine. Whereas the first wine, the 2013, had more of that terpene, nutty, slightly fennel-like character. And then the 2015 was a bit bigger and a little bit more flavorful. So it was three slightly different expressions of Maccabeu. It just shows you how vintage variation combined with a bit of age gives you a different experience. Raphael?
The common point is that I was impressed how young the wine is with 5, 4, 6 or 7 years aging. In my mind, the wine were quite similar, but we can see that the vintage has a big influence with the aging, more than when it's young. We can compare the vintage when wine is young, but with the aging, I can see that the difference increase between the wines. I would add that yesterday I tasted the first vintage, 2010, and it was very, very fresh and young. So even those vintage, you can keep in the cellar for years.
Raphael, I assume you agree with Zander that it wouldn't be possible if it wasn't old vines involved.
Yes, that is a big effect. Unique vineyard in one block at that age gives a perfect condition to elaborate those wine. And as I used to vinify Maccabeu from other vineyard and other area, and I never had this result really. And the condition and the old vines, it's the perfect combination for this kind of white wine.
And just one other point, and Raphael, you must add to this. In my 14 years of going to Domaine Grier, I have tasted a lot of wines with Maccabeu involved, but in blends. So Maccabeu generally in the south of France is blended. Probably 60–70% of Maccabeu goes into blends, and it actually blends beautifully with Grenache Blanc, Grenache Gris, particularly. But and often the blends give you even more complexity. Raphael?
That's right on classic Maccabeu, but the area allow us to make a single variety that has the complexity, and it's a very finished wine and complex with a nice balance. And I think it was very interesting to propose to people, because this wine is very successful even in France, in Roussillon, because it's original. There is not a lot of single Maccabeu, as you say, and not a lot with that balance and that freshness.